the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
The top HBCU programs in the nation come to Montgomery, Alabama's Riverwalk Stadium this May 11th through 14th for the Black College World Series. The best Black college baseball teams in the NCAA Division II and the NAIA will battle for Black baseball's ultimate pride. Games will be streamed live at www.mybcsn.net. Tickets are available now online at www.blackcollegechampionships.com.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice. Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on?
Sure, it's wireless.
Pick something we all like. Okay, hold on. What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password?
Buick Envision 2021.
Oh, you should pick something stronger. That's really predictable.
That's a really tight spot. Don't worry, I used to hate parallel parking.
Me too.
Hey.
Really outdid yourself.
Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you, all of you.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Today is, what's the day? Today is the 8th of June, 2022. Welcome to Random Thoughts with DVP. Y'all know who I am. I'm the host, DVP. We got a few things we're going to talk about today. My co-host is running late, so it's just going to be me for a minute. So, first of all, let me just start with my monologue, since it's just me. It's gonna be me for the whole show. Get used to it today, I think. All right. I don't want to do a whole lot of politics because I just don't. You know, you getting it every day, everywhere you look. But I'm gonna stick to. There's certain things that we can't just keep overlooking because we're so used to it. You know, it's crazy. I was thinking about it the other day. You know, most of us remember where we were doing 911. But you know, it's insane to me. Most of us don't remember what we were doing or the date of the first school shooting. They become so commonplace. Most of us don't remember the first school shooting that we heard about. isn't that kind of sad that it's so common? I remember vaguely there being a school shooting in '83. I said I was going to look it up, but I kind of got behind. But we don't remember. We did the show last week, and the banner ran all the schools that had been part of a school shooting. It took a few minutes for that banner to finish running for just school shootings. For just school shootings. And we're almost kind of immune to it, to where it don't make a big difference. What's up, Ryan? Ryan, do you want to be a guest, Ryan? Since we're gonna discuss parts of one of your posts. But as we look at what goes on in America, what's going on, Fontella? As we look at what goes on in America, why do we become so, what's a good word? We don't have any emotions now to what goes on with us. Or if we do, it's a quick passing thing and we own to something else. That kind of pains me. Ryan, do you want to come on? What's going on, Fontella? And it's crazy. But Ryan, Fontella, do you guys remember where you were during the first school shooting? Well, I know you got your mic muted because you're multitasking, but do you remember what was going on? The first school shooting that you can recall? Do you remember where you were, what you were doing, anything?
Not a clue.
And it's sad because this has been going on for quite a while, but we've become so, and no, there were school shootings way before Sandy Hook. And that's the crazy part. Because I'm not sure, like I say, I had one in '83 and Roy ran a list. If you get a chance, Roy, can you run that list of school names again? I know you're doing it. If you can't, don't worry about it. But this, I want to say, when I was doing the research, school shootings started in 1800, in the 1800s. But if you just Google school shootings, you'll see a shitload of schools that come up. And we're not talking about accidental discharges. We're not talking about teachers committing suicide. We're talking where students got shot. It has been going on that we don't even think about it. Wow, what's going on there? If you're right, Columbine was in 1999. But like I said, I'm sure there was one that happened in '83 because I remember them saying something about it over the intercom. I just don't remember what it was. It just didn't register. Now they happen and bam, we just don't think shit about them. We pray, we kumbaya, we beg for laws to be changed, and nothing changes. Nothing changes. They just wait us out. They wait us out. We wait each other out. At some point, this has got to stop being the norm. I mean, we're arguing now, and I'm not going to revisit the whole last show, but last show when I was talking about some of the changes that can be made, I was a cop. I was a soldier. I know what an AR-15 does. To say that you want an AR-15 for home defense is as big a lie some of the stuff we're going to discuss today in the show. Unless your home, and I'm going to say this till forever, unless your home is built of metal, I mean like the good stuff, steel, or you got true cinder blocks as your frame, there's nothing in your home that will stop an AR-15 bullet. What's going on, Bobby? So when you shoot something, that bullet doesn't do what a normal handgun round does. It's going to keep going. The feet per second of this movement is extreme. It's going to tear up everything. So every excuse they making is bullshit. That's a good word for it. It's total bullshit. And what's going on, Bob? I don't know if I spoke already. But we sit here and we listen to people. I'm listening to some of the hearings earlier. People needed to kill feral hogs. They needed to kill vermin. You got to be shitting me. You have got to be shitting me. And even if you did, why does a 21-year-old need it? Why does an 18-year-old need an assault rifle? An assault rifle. If you want one because you want one, say that, but don't lie and say it's for something else. Don't lie. You know, if you want one because it's cute, if you want one because you got $1,500 to blow, fine. I will still be against you. And if we're honest about it, going back to Obama, they never said they wanted to take them. They said they wanted to limit the purchases of them. People who got them, got them. They got legacy laws in place where if you got one, they can come by and you register it just as you would a vehicle. And they get the serial number. That way they can keep up with them. What's the problem with that if what you're doing is legitimate? If you're truly a hunter, and I know plenty of hunters, none of them, I don't know anybody who hunts with an AR-15 except people who are looking to wipe out numerous people quickly. The only reason that the police force got them was to combat criminals, different animal, because we'll keep trying to dissect and divert the conversation to criminals when all of these school shootings, let me take that back. Most of these school shootings have been done by people who weren't criminals. Most of these school shootings have been done by people who did not steal a weapon, who did not get the weapon on the black market. They bought it legitimately. Most of them were under 21. And I've heard people make excuses for mental illness, which is bullshit. Evil is evil. That's not a mental illness, that's a condition. You know, oh, I was picked on, I was harassed, yada, yada, yada. This is going to tie partly into the show. We make so many excuses. Bobby, Ryan, Fontella, who wasn't picked on in school, who didn't get joned about something, and we just laughed it off and kept going. All of us got picked on. Who are we going out and killing because somebody, at one point, all of us lost a joning match. Roy even. All of us lost one of the matches. We won some. How many enemies did it create to the point we wanted to go out and kill somebody? I would love to hear that. I would love to know the reality behind that. So now we're using it as an excuse, and excuses for everything. And it's straight bullshit, all these excuses that they're giving, and we take them overwhelmingly. Oh yeah, this is why he did it. It's mental illness. No, it's just he's evil. He's evil. This is not a mental illness. This is a condition. And let me just tell you this. Y'all know I talk ad nauseum about my depression and my bouts with it. And I tell you things about it. Now, my depression does things to me. Don't get it twisted. I will agree to that. But when I am truly depressed, when I have truly been in that mood, I was not picky about my targets. And I'm amazed at all these people who having these breakdowns and they suffer from depression, but they look for the weakest links. See, the boy in Buffalo, the boy in Uvalde, they didn't look after the people who harassed them. Well, let me talk specifically about the boy in Uvalde for a few minutes, then I'm moving on. He went to the school where he was harassed. He ain't got no money, but he can afford an AR-15, he can afford the magazine, he can afford the ballistic vest. Again, I'm gonna call bullshit. Why was an 18-year-old allowed to buy those things? Why? It makes no sense to me. So I hear the arguments, and all of them are bullshit. I don't know what kind of guns y'all got, and I don't want y'all to say nothing crazy and tell on yourself. Well, for real, for those of y'all who got guns that's with me, how many burglars have you had to shoot? For those of y'all who got guns, how many of us truly practice with those? Because everybody thinks that they're gonna just be like that. They're gonna be like that when it comes to it. Go back and look to the guy that escaped from prison and shot 5 people. And I said this before. He took the homeowner's weapon and started shooting people. Most guns are taken from homeowners who aren't prepared to shoot, but they got them for protection. But when it's time to protect, they can't get to them. They ain't practiced. They ain't in the right mindset. There's too many things going on. We have got to stop with the making of excuses, period, no matter what the condition is. And this is where we have truly got to stop. Ryan, let me get you this link to send you before I forget. And this is the insanity of what we do and what we try to how we try to justify wrongdoing. And don't get me wrong, this ain't to call nobody out. This ain't to suggest that any of us are less than. This is just to say that we can do better. And everybody, I don't know anybody who hasn't made a mistake. I don't know anybody who hasn't been at their best sometime. With all that being said, we got to stop acting like we ain't never made a bad decision. We got to stop acting like we ain't never had to pay a cost for our bad decision. We got to stop acting like the bad decision wasn't on us and we keep coming up with excuses. Therefore, we ain't gonna never get better because we won't accept the bad decision that we make so we can stop making it. But if I'm telling who in their right mind, why we even sell them in mass is to make money. It's just to make money. Some of these senators and congressmen don't even want to discuss changing the age limit. Isn't that insane? Isn't that insane? I forgot. I think you got to be 21 to buy cigarettes. No, you got to be 21 to buy alcohol. But you can be 18 to buy a gun, a weapon of mass destruction. That is insanity on steroids. Insanity. But it's what we do. And we're okay with that convoluted mindset. Now, one of the topics that I want to go through, that's it for my monologue. I'm just trying to find the thing I sent to my producer, because we, people in general, we hate being called out. And y'all know this show is about uncomfortable conversations. And here's one of the things that I posted on my show page, Random Thoughts with DVP, for those out who ain't with me. We live in a time where intelligent people are being silenced so that stupid people won't be offended. When we come up with all these excuses, and I ain't calling everybody stupid, but I am. Well, we have to be silenced. The truth is what it is, but we can't offend people. Everybody, we got to be on our toes. We got to walk on eggshells because everybody's so offended. And we don't want to offend them. Where did that come from? Why did that come from? Who does that? And we can't say nothing. You can't call people fat. You can't call them skinny. You can't call them bald head. You can't say nothing because everybody's offended. So we have to be quiet or live a lie to make the sensitive people okay. Ryan, check your inbox. I just sent you a link so you can come on the show so we can get to your topic. And this was the insanity that I did not understand. When do we get to all of this where we got to keep lying to ourselves to make other people comfortable? Who does that? Who does that? And I'm not saying we got to go out our way to hurt people's feelings. But damn, really? Really? Is this what we've become, a nation of pansies where we can't speak the truth, which is what everybody wants to hear, unless it offends them? Unless it offends them. Make that make sense. Make it make sense. Commercial break right here, just for me and y'all. The first known mass shooting in the US where students were shot was on April 19, 1891, when 70-year-old James Foster fired a shotgun at a group of students at the playground of St. Mary's Parochial School in Newburgh, New York, causing minor injuries to several students. 1891, New York. 1891 was the first school shooting. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. But here we are, trying to debate the merits of who should and should not have a gun to hunt, to hunt people down for their pleasure, for home defense. No training whatsoever. It's insane. But as we came here today, because I want to talk about what's bothering me. And Ryan, I sent you a link because I want you to be here since you showed up. I'm glad to have you, brother. And this is one of those things where disagreements occur, and that's okay. You learn from disagreeing with people who can point you in the right direction to get you to a different mindset or frame of mind. Because sometimes we think that our world is the world and we ignore what's out there for the rest of the people. We willingly ignore these things. And again, I don't get why. We will, in the name of protecting our own sanity, protecting our own egos, protecting, especially men, our fragile male egos. We do this. Women do it. It's not toxic. It's just what we do. Understand, self-survival is a basic instinct for people. It's not masculine or feminine. It is what it is. We even do it protected cognitive identity, I think is what it is, cognitive protective identity. We want to believe that everything we think is right, and anybody who doesn't agree with us is wrong. Therefore, thereby stunting our own growth. Because that's what we do. We stunt our own growth because we don't want to hear anything out of the norm of what we believe. If you don't believe what I believe, you are inherently wrong. So that sucks. And we stick by it to a fault. And again, that sucks. So I've been reading posts for the past, 2-3 weeks. And I tried to avoid them because, I want to let people live in their truth, even if it ain't true. So today, I want to talk about minimum wage, choices and excuses. Minimum wage, choices and excuses. Because Ryan, is he here yet? Ryan, where you at, brother? Come on in. Check your inbox. I sent you a link. Ryan made a post about not being able to survive off $15, which I totally disagree. I totally disagree. There was another post where somebody gave this whole little scenario of making $14 an hour and what they couldn't do and all of the drama that comes with it. And I say, and I will stick with this, some of these come from bad decision making, but we don't want to own the bad decision making. Yeah, just go to your inbox, Ron. I just sent it to you. And I'm gonna just use Fontella right now because I know Fontella ain't sensitive. I'm glad to have you back, and I'm glad you like the music. One of my friends from ABC did it. I just sent you the link, Ryan. If Fontella has a baby by a guy who is not worthy of being a father, Fontella can sit back and talk about him all day long. But at some point, Fontella has to look at why she made the decisions to let him impregnate her. And then Fontella has to self-diagnose and self-reflect so that she doesn't make the same bad decision again. Because if she never understands why she made that decision, she will make that decision again with another person. So it's imperative that Fontella say, shit, this is what I did wrong. And it's the same thing I tell for guys. I just use Fontella right now because I'm gonna get to the guys in a second. But if Fontella sat back, and it looked like it didn't get to you, Ryan, let me look for it again and send it. or Roy, are you busy? Can you send Ryan the link? Because I thought I sent it to him. I don't know what happened. But if Fontella doesn't look at Fontella and what made Fontella make the decision to let this guy get her pregnant, Fontella will never make the right decision about guys in the future, because she's going to sit back and say, oh, he was this, he was that. And it's the same thing with dudes. When we want to dog women who have, oh, the baby mama ain't this, oh, she won't do this. What made you pick her? Was you caught off guard by the big booty? Was you caught off guard by the pretty smile? What is it that caught you off guard that you missed all the signs that she wasn't a good woman? And until you do that, you will continually pick the wrong woman. And this is the toughest part of being a grown-up that all of us swear we are. It's taking responsibility for decisions that we make, good, bad, or indifferent. That is what hurts us, because we don't want to do it. It's much easier to blame somebody else. And it makes us feel better, because now I don't have to take responsibility, because it ain't my fault. It's somebody else's fault because they tricked me. All right, look again, Ryan. Well, how did they trick you? How did they trick you? You know the streets, you know this, you know that, you know this. And this is why we get to having uncomfortable conversations, because I can sit back and blame my ex-wives for the failed marriage. But damn, I was the same dude saying I'm a king, I'm a leader, I'm a this, I'm a that, but I couldn't get none of that done. So at some point I have to accept the fact that I chose the wrong woman. Even if they chose me, I let them choose me. Why did I stay there for that? Was I so insecure with myself that I didn't want to back off? Was I so in a place? What was going on so that I can correct me? Because I can't correct them. I can't make Fontella be a better person. Fontella has to want to be a better person, then she can accept change. DVP has got to want to be a better person before he will accept change. But without accepting responsibility, if I get to keep blaming on somebody else, I ain't gonna never accept responsibility. Because in the words of Silk the Shocker, I think that's who said it, it ain't my fault. Did I do that? It ain't my fault. And that's where we get stuck. So when we talk about minimum wage and choices, these are choices that we make. Why do we make them? Why do we make them?
Ryan, well, I guess Ryan can hear me.
Okay.
Ryan, check your spam. It's not the spam, but it's your secondary messages as well. I sent you the link too, but I'm not one of your friends, so it's in that. It should be in that other area of your inbox.
Well, I just resent it to him. And right, I mean, wherever you go, there you are. When the same things keep happening to you, you have to look within. You become the common denominator, not other people. Not other people. When I see people, and I'm gonna get to this now because this was important to me. That's why I dedicated the whole show to it. This was important to me that we keep saying, we'll tell other people, well, what's the common denominator? What's the common denominator? And they are the common denominator. But when it's us, then we got an excuse. Somebody tricked me. Somebody did this. Okay, if you got tricked, then that means you need to step up your perceptions, your abilities, your cognitive skills to understand what you are doing wrong. What's going on? What's going on, Cinema? Bible says, person born out of wedlock is automatically considered to be an heir of their mother and their natural kindred to the mother's family. On the other hand, the same child will only be considered to be an heir of their biological father and his family if certain conditions are met. Mating is a biological event. Right, but here we go, Bobby. Most of us are old enough and smart enough to know what causes babies. And when I hear people say they have unprotected sex, but they're not trying to have a baby, see, those two things don't match up. Those two things don't match up. Very few men have ever said they were forced to have unprotected sex. So it's a choice that they make. So again, and I'm gonna use Fontella because I'm already using her. If me and Fontella decide to have unprotected sex, both of us have willingly acknowledged the fact that a pregnancy may occur. So whose fault is it if she gets pregnant? This is the one time, it's 50-50. We both have entered this contract. We both have trusted each other, but we never had the uncomfortable conversation about what's going to happen. There's going to be a whole nother show because y'all trying to get me distracted. What's up, Dr. Dale? We never had the conversation about what will happen if she get pregnant. Because I'm thinking, oh, Fontella don't want kids. She's going to have an abortion. Fontella's thinking, oh, DVP, a nice guy. He into me. He wants a relationship with me. See, we ain't had the conversation. We just both want to feel good sex. None of the repercussions that come behind it, because we're going to make excuses for that. So with that being said, my man Ryan is here. Ryan, you got your microphone on, brother?
Yes, sir, brother. Can you hear me?
All right, introduce yourself, my brother.
Oh man, it's a blessing to be on your live. I thoroughly respect you as an individual, as a man, as a content creator, as a just as a man. My name is Ryan Harley, everybody, a little about me. I'm a musician, singer, songwriter. I like to put out messages that touch on things that we're going through in this time, because music is healing, even though I'm not really on here for musical reasons. I'm on here to build and share meaningful content and conversation with the very, very respected and influential individual. Oh, sorry about that. I'm here at work at breaks. My apologies, but that's who I am. So shout out to everybody that's on here, and thanks for having me, DVP.
I want y'all to flood Ryan's inbox and ask him why he ain't did no music for my show, because I done asked him. And as y'all harass him, if y'all look at the banner now, they running schools that have had school shooting. And just watch the banner. But and that'll be y'all subcontext. But Ryan had made a post, and his wasn't as in depth. Somebody else's was. So even though I'm gonna talk about both of them in the same breath, and this is about minimum wage, choices, and excuses. Because and here again, this is one of those things where men need to learn to deal with men, because we can disagree. We can always disagree. We don't have to be disrespectful and disagree. Because clearly, if y'all go to Ryan's page, if y'all send him a friend request, I'm disagreeing with his whole post. And he disagreeing with me. But we never got to the point of name calling, because it's not about that. And see, Ryan did something, and Ryan made me put in some work, because Ryan said, do the breakdown. So DVP went to a whole site and pulled up Philly rents and stuff, because Ryan made me do it. He just didn't want to take me for it. And so this is why I'm gonna fuss at Ryan, because I didn't know he was coming on the show, because I done invited him before, but he ain't never came. So now he here. I'm gonna put him on Front Street, because this is what we do. And we have these uncomfortable conversations. And I'm gonna give him his props. But this is what I try to get everybody to understand. Understand this too. Me and Ryan have never met face to face. We've had a couple of conversations. Expanding your knowledge base and becoming more well-rounded means you got to deal with people outside of your circle, so you can see what's going on in the rest of the world versus just your world. It means you have to deal with people who have a different thought process than you, so that you can expand, you can put more tools on your tool belt. See, some things I've never experienced, and people come in and say stuff, and there are things I have said that I personally don't agree with, but I have to accept the fact this is what other people are doing. It ain't what I'm doing. It ain't what my 5 or 6 friends doing. So I have to accept this as fact. So Ryan made the post about people can't survive off $15 an hour. And see, this is, and it could have just been a word game. If Ryan would have said, in my opinion right now, and I'm gonna let Ryan speak. If Ryan would have said you can't do it comfortably, I would have totally agreed. But you can survive off $15 an hour. But remember some of the things I said earlier, you got to put your pride aside. You got to put your ego aside. You got to put a bunch of things aside. And the number one thing you got to put aside, which is why, I said something to a couple of his people, is if we talking about somebody who is under 20, 21, I don't have the same expectations of them. But one of his people who claim to be somebody start bringing up people 33 to 45 or something like that. If you're 33 and you making minimum wage, again, choices and excuses. Because why are you that old and you're just making minimum wage? And I ain't saying it's bad. I'm just saying you've made some bad choices in life, and you have to own up to those. And that's all I'm saying. We can't sit back and say, oh, I ain't doing this. Whether your bad choices my pet peeve is I make pretty decent money. I bought a 1995 pickup truck. I paid $3,000 for it. Guess what I got? Not nary a car note. Okay. And I use this as an example because now with a car that's paid for, all I need is no fault insurance. Whereas if I pay for a car because I want something I like and I get me a 2015 something and the car note ain't but $250, but now the insurance is $150, $200 for those of y'all who got bad driving records. So now I'm paying almost $500 for a car because I want to have something I like. And you know, what do I always tell you? Get a car that works for you. Don't get a car you got to work for. You working ass backwards. See, for me, that means you make bad choices. Again, this is the start of something. If your money is going strictly to pay bills that you keep building, these are bad choices. And with the $15 an hour minimum wage, because the post that we originally used was $14. That wasn't Ryan's post, so somebody else's post who got mad at me. And I'm gonna just hold on, let me pull it up because I want to read what it says to you. All right. Because Ryan, I don't know if Ryan ever saw this, because if he did, he didn't post it.
This one for 14?
Yeah, it's something to think about. What if you're a single parent with a child? You work a full-time job for $14 an hour. You bring home roughly $800 per paycheck bi-weekly. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna break these down as I go to them so you don't have to hit the whole thing. And I'm gonna tell you what's wrong with that, because people don't do it. See, when they broke down this $800, they did what most people do. $14 a week for 40 hours is, what's 40 times 14, Ryan?
40 times 14. It's not 800.
All right, so if that's 800, you
got to deduct tax. You got to do that.
And man, y'all gonna make me break out my calculator. And you know what? We're gonna stick to Ryan. We're gonna make it $15 an hour. See, now Dale says a child. Ryan just said a single person. And and that's why I told people who, when I was on Ryan's post, y'all keep throwing in various, but all we talking about is one single person. Yeah. And as a recruiter for a company, this is one of the things I talk to when I recruit new workers, especially young workers. And the first thing they do is complain about rent, which is why it was my go-to. Because I can get a 1-bedroom. We're gonna use today's economy. I can get a 1-bedroom, and we're gonna use Philly because I had the numbers up. A studio in Philly costs $1,400. A studio, which means you got a closet.
Right.
A 1-bedroom was $1,800. A 2-bedroom was $2,600, I think. Mm-hmm. So, first things first, you can spend $1,800 to live by yourself, to flex, and that's what I called it. Or you can get a roommate and spend $1,300. I just knocked off $500 right there. But you know what we do as a people, and this is a racist thing. We will watch other communities, other races, where people will live together to try to pool their money together. But Black people, especially men, we notoriously want to have our own space because we're trying to get some. Mm-hmm. But you giving up $500 a month for the opportunity to get some, which ain't happening because you got to work. Now you need to work some overtime. So again, this is a bad choice. And Ryan was like, "No, you can't use assistance." And I'm like, "Why not use assistance?" And this is why I'm glad he showed up, because without using assistance, you letting your ego and pride get in the way. And you can't survive like that. I expect that from young people because they don't know better. But if you're over 26 and you're struggling, the last thing you need to have is pride that will let you continue to make bad decisions. And we talk. See, Ron just got out of his car. I'm assuming that's his car. We're gonna make it be his car.
Yeah, it is.
So, and I don't know what the bus fare in Philly is. I did for the one in Atlanta. But $100 a month. Look at he got a Cadillac. he flexing, but he got a job. And I know he ain't making minimum wage because he got a job with a good microphone, but that's a whole nother story. But when we do this, if you know you make a minimum wage, why don't you let it work for you? You can sit there and struggle and try to pay $1,800 a month off what you're gonna get, or you can get a roommate and pay $1,300. Thereby, you just increased your revenue by $500. You're gonna split all your bills in half, which means you're gonna pick up another $200-300. See, that's just smart business. And again, where we let our egos get in the way, especially as Black men, we don't want to apply for assistance. We don't want to ask nobody for help because we don't want to seem weak and distraught. And this is where our struggle comes from, because we're too proud. Go ahead and say something, Ryan.
Okay.
I look you finna go around.
Yeah. I would like to, I definitely would like to rebuttal a couple of things you said. So the original context in what I said is that you can't live off of $15 an hour, which means, right, you should be able to live off of $15 an hour. No assistance, which means it should be able to take care of you. But the problem is we live in a climate where that's out the window now. Gas is like about to be $7 a gallon. One bag of chicken is $20, right? So I'm just crunching a few numbers. I'm just throwing a few realistic, and a couple things you mentioned was variable on your end. It's living off the $15 an hour. You're splitting in expense. It's like going Dutch. It's like if you ask a woman out, right? You can't say, yeah, I got money to go out on a date. If you asking a woman to go Dutch, then you shouldn't ask her out unless you can foot the bill. And it's not a pride or ego thing, but it's an independence thing. It's everybody has a right that wants to truly be independent should be able to be given a fair shot to be independent. And $15 at one point, yeah, absolutely. But like you said, just the numbers. If it takes $15 an hour at $2,400 a month, right? Now the $2,400 a month is before taxes, right? Before taxes. So that's gross. That's not even net, right? What is the main requirement for you to have housing for yourself? One person. The main income requirement is that you have 2.5, be able to make 2.5 times whatever your rent is. So if your rent is like $1,400, you over your budget just on rent, and we ain't even get into food. We ain't get into gas. We ain't get into transportation. Now if we eliminate gas, right? And we put bus fare, right? Let's just say bus fare. A monthly trans pass is approximately $96. Let's run with that. Let's just say we're going to save some money. We're going to do the monthly trans pass, right? Okay. But you still got to make extra runs. And in this climate, you can't depend on the possibility of having a roommate because people are crazy. People fuck around, kill you in your sleep. You move in with it's horror stories that come along with having a roommate. So a lot of people don't decline that because they're too proud. You understand what I'm saying? There's a whole nother aspect as to, people use caution. You meet somebody off the internet, there's serial killer. You got, like me, let's just say I get a roommate. I got like $50,000 worth of studio equipment, right? So I share a room. The other person across the hall share a room. Somebody else share a room. I work 16. I don't mind putting it out there. I work 80 hours a week. I'm at Brinks right now. And like, what is it, like 6 o'clock? It's like 7 o'clock. So in 4 more hours, I'm going to be at my second job. That's another 40 hours. Both jobs are $15 an hour. So technically, at a 40 hour, I'm making $30 an hour because I'm only making $15 an hour. You understand what I'm saying? And that's just me. Because realistically, if you do the math, for you to do the essentials, right? If you catch an Uber because you don't have a car, right? And they put limits on bus rides, so you can't just swipe your TransPass forever in Philly like you could before. Like, there's no, you can't share your TransPass, none of that stuff is different. Like, everything is different. So even if you go, you by yourself, you already underwater. You upside down the minute that you fill out a rental application. And they say, okay, I need first, last, and security, right? And I need you to prove that you make 3 times what the rent is. Now, with assistance, yes, but why should a person be deprived? If minimum wage is 15, a person should be able to do the bare minimum, even if they got $200 left out of all of their expenses. But if your rent, if with the requirements, this is my problem with the system. Everything is raising except the wages. Everything. There's no way that a rent should be 30% increase.
But it's people that been on their job for 10 years not getting a raise. You feel what I'm saying? And then certain people, I'm gonna piggyback off of something else you said. Somebody 35, 40 years old, if they're making minimum wage, then they made a bad decision. Not necessarily, because that's like saying if we sitting at the table playing spades, if I get dealt a shitty hand, I'm just made a bad decision. Life is the dealer. So life deals us whatever we get. And at certain times in life, like, we got to play the hand that we can. Now, I agree with you on the decision making, because life ain't going to always give you a shitty hand. So if you don't do what you're supposed to do within the time frame and circumstance and big joker, little joker, ace of spade, deuce of spade, and then you get 35 and you fucked up the church money, excuse my expression, then yeah, I'm with you on that. But you got to look at both sides of the variables, because you mentioned my people mentioning variables about adding kids, right? And that's fair. That's a fair assessment. But you also added variables with roommates. But understand, you're not living off the 15. Like, you and somebody is living off of, it's like carpooling. Like, exactly. One person is and that's a beautiful structure. I think we need to get back to that as a people, because where I live in Kissimmee, these Puerto Ricans run shit. They everywhere, like roaches. They run.
How do they get ahead?
What? Like that?
Because they stay like that, so they're not spending money flexing for the next person. I mean,
I'm gonna tell you the secret. I'm gonna tell you the secret that I see. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interject. I'm gonna tell you the secret that I see. Not only do they the shit at saving money, right? But they put themselves in position, right? The person that sold me my house was Latino. The property management that I got to talk to about my rent, Latino, right? The bosses here, Latino. The managers here, Latino. Like, in positions of power, that they're putting each other in positions of power, in addition to not being too proud to start at or work from wherever they work from. And it's like every nationality on the fucking planet understand this except us. We get something, we rub it in each other's face. They get something, they move their whole fucking family. Half of the fucking New York live here now. It's correct. Yo, when I see it, it makes me mad. Every boss I ever had was fucking Latino.
But and you prove my point though, Ryan. Assistance is assistance. Whether it's to go to whether you're going to a grocery store, because that's assistance. If you don't want assistance, then grow your own food. And that's why I said I wasn't giving you a variable. What I was giving you was a solution to an economic problem. See, you can sit back and be macho and make $15 an hour and struggle. That's a choice. That is a choice. Or you can sit back and make a good decision, find another friend, a friend. Don't get a stranger. Get somebody who you know, because coming out, nobody starts off with enough money to pay first and last month rent, because everybody starts off somewhere. But when you got a car, and this is one of the things I use, when you got this car note, you got a car note?
Yeah.
How much did you put down on your car? Roughly.
I don't remember, like $1,500.
Okay, so now had we just with your $1,500 bought a buy here, pay here car? Now your car is working for you, because if your car lasts you 2 years, that's less than $100 a month. Plus you get a deduction on your insurance. So that's all I was saying is that we can go ahead and buy a cash car. It ain't what we want, but it will work for us as opposed to us working for it. So when we start doing this, we gotta stop wanting things that it's nice to want things, but this is what we work for. See, when we first start off in the workforce, we don't deserve to have priorities. When at $15 an hour, some of the things that the guy was talking about he want to do, if you're a grown man, if you're over 30, you're gonna have to let some of them go. If you 30, whatever, and you making minimum wage, which ain't $15. When do you have time to date? You need to be getting your groove up, because you're gonna want submission. You're gonna want to be the king. You're gonna want to be the head of the household and all this other stuff, but you ain't put in the work for none of that. And that's what hurts us as a people, especially as Black men. We don't want to put in the work, but we want Fontella, we want Deborah, we want Cinnamon. We want them to submit to us and do things. But it sucks if I gotta ask Fontella out and tell her, oh, well, you gotta pay too. But this is because I'm flexing, and and I'm gonna give you a great example. When I got divorced,
right,
I had to it cost me a lot of money. It messed up my credit. I want to stay with my mother. I want to stay with my mother because I was still making okay money, but I was traveling. Now I could have been a macho man and got my own place and paid $1,200 a month in rent, or I could go stay with my mother and give her $500 because I'm only there 15 days a month. I'm traveling the other 15. I give my mama $500. She save money. I save money. So I'm saving $700 a month. She doing my laundry. She'll cook for me the 2 weeks that I'm there. And if I meet this woman and we want to have some private time, I can afford to go to a hotel. But had I just kept an apartment and paid the $1,200 a month, that means I'm throwing away money. But I want to be grown, but I ain't making grown man decisions. I'm making decisions for other people because I want them to think I got my own. I don't care what nobody think. One girl said, well, why you didn't ask me out? I said, you said you didn't date men who stay with their mother. She said, but yours was different. I said, nope, you said you didn't date men who stay with their mother. I wasn't finna justify. I live with my mother. So guess what I mean? That means I had to let that go because she would have been a bad decision. And I had to accept that. Do I want to sit here and try to finagle my way in, or do I want to handle my business? So I got to a point where I wasn't making minimum wage. I started making good money. I still need to make good decisions. When your friend said, you said it too. I buy grapes. You know why? I like grapes. Grapes cost a lot of money now. But guess what? I saved up enough money that if I want to buy grapes twice a month, I can do that. But guess what? I ain't gonna buy grapes every week because then that would be a bad decision on my part. And that's why I say we can't keep making excuses. Sometimes you gotta say, I'm willing to miss out on this to do this. Because if you got an ultimate goal, you want to have. I'm assuming one day you're gonna want to buy your own house.
Yeah, I mean, my third one I would like to. But a couple things I want to clarify on what you're saying though. What you're saying changes the equation of a man or woman having a right to make a livable wage that supports them as an individual.
But minimum wage ain't meant to be a livable.
And I agree.
Minimum wage ain't meant to be a living wage, right? It's meant to be a starting point. Ryan, when we was making I don't know how old you are. When I started off making $3.35, Ryan, that ain't supposed to be a living wage. That ain't supposed to be a living wage. It's a starting point, which is why you see kids making that, Ryan. Kids at Walmart making this. Go ahead, Roy.
I'm gonna jump in on this one because this is one of those areas that I disagree with you on. Because one of the things that you have to think about and consider based on what you just said. Well, kids should be in school from 9 o'clock to 3 or 4. Who's going to work all these places while they're in school? We need a livable wage, but the issue is inflation has grown at an exponential amount, and minimum wage has not. That's the issue because you have to think about it. I mean, hell, in the 70s. You know, like my rent was $700 for a 3-bedroom house or a 3-bedroom house or an apartment. You know, so you can make minimum wage and still do what you needed to do. But now the inflation, which is truly a joke and it's a farce, because as technology has gotten better, production of everything should have gotten cheaper. So it shouldn't be going up that way. They should have been like, and I'm gonna use this example because this is the first part that I know I want to talk about. And the reason I say this is because there is about to be a shift in the industry. By the end of the year, I guarantee you, every restaurant chain is gonna have a minimum salary of $15 an hour plus tips. Let me tell you why. And I'm not talking about like Burger King, McDonald's, and what you call it. I'm talking about servers. Because right now, these places have nobody willing to work. Because why the hell am I going to work for $3.50 an hour which is below minimum wage, plus tips? When hell, I can go drive Uber when I want to and cash out and make $100 a day. Or I can do Amazon. So they have options now. Yeah. See, before these people didn't have the options, so they were forced to stay in that industry and try to make it going. That industry is about to change. They are not going to have a choice but to start paying people more money. Hold on, let me say this. I see you, John. Hold on. Let me finish this. the fact about a livable wage doesn't need to start with just the conversation about it being $15 to $20 an hour. It needs to start at the point of why is housing so much more expensive than it used to be? Because that's where the biggest issue. Because if you have to have a third, what is it? What did Ryan say? I think, and you even did it. I think they say you are a third of your income is what you should be able to have for your house, right? That's the stated formula. So they have to. What the government should be doing is basing that basic minimum wage on that. So if minimum wage is $15, then you say, okay, bam, here's what rent, the average rent in this country for, and we ain't talking like you said, because you're right, people got to sacrifice. You can't live in no 4 or 5 bedroom house with all this other shit, but you still should be able to get you a decent home. Yeah. And here's my thing, even if it's not one person, because now we're talking about families. 2 people working a minimum wage job should be able to do some stuff from a family perspective. Absolutely. And that is about the growth, and that's where the problem is. We don't have that. That's the middle class came out of people making minimum wage, and they were able to advance.
Okay, Roy, you said some real important things. And the first one you said was about there are options. So if you want to make more to get more, you have to do more. See, we keep talking about what people should pay us. Businesses, 99% of business are in it to make money. Their loyalty ain't to you as an employee. It's to their bottom line. So if you want to make more money, because I'm going to stick to what I'm saying, minimum wage is not meant for you to be doing all this other stuff. It is a starting point. See,
listen, I didn't say it was meant to do all that stuff.
So let me finish, because I listen. So if we talking about $15 and you thinking that you should be able to have this, and this, and it's the same thing that school kids are making, because all kids ain't in school. In the 11th grade, I was out of school at 11 o'clock and I had a job. So at 11 o'clock, and I got a job, and I'm looking at these grown people who got the same job that I got. I already know I'm in a better position than them, because while I'm at home, I can save up my money. So if there's a grown man who's doing the same job as me, and that's his primary source of income, I'm looking at him kind of different, because he's telling me he don't want to be nobody. He is at a job that is wage and not salary. See, so you got to start looking at the decisions that we start making, and we keep wanting to make excuses for what people should do for us, because we love to tell people, oh, start your own business. When you start your own business, how do businesses thrive? Off other people buying from them, which means you need somebody else. But men won't ask for assistance. I got Farad on here. Me and Farad had the fuss. Farad was a parent. Farad didn't want child support from the mother. Y'all know I fuss about that all day long. Even if you don't need it, the child needs it. Put that money into an account and give it to the child at graduation. But too many times, men will turn things down because of that fragile male ego. They don't want to call it that. They'll say that they being a boss, they being this. It's bullshit. Why are you turning down an opportunity to make more money? You can eye all you want to. The facts are facts. You got an opportunity to make more money, but you choose not to. You got an opportunity to move up the socioeconomic ladder and change your financial status, but you choose not to because you want your own stuff. You don't want to go through and share, as Ryan was talking about, with all the Mexicans and Hispanics who bonding together, who living 10, 15, and they sharing the money so they all come on top, because now they only got, everybody got to chip in $20 as opposed to somebody chipping in $500. We don't see that and follow that path because we want to do it differently. And that's why we control the ghetto, because we want to have our own places. So we have to keep selling for the bottom of the barrel because we don't want to combine and work with each other. We don't want to do that. That is an excuse. We will get women pregnant and we will sit there and argue about who is this. The woman will call us deadbeat. We'll call them tramps and hoes. We ain't working together. But nobody wanted to take responsibility for birth control. I'm thinking she gonna do it. She thinking I'm gonna do it. So now we at odds again. See, this is where we keep making bad choices, because Let's see, what's cheaper, child support or condoms? That's an easy one. But most of us won't buy condoms. We swear we do, but we don't like condoms because they don't make us feel good. But feel good come with an 18-year layaway plan that we ain't prepared to pay. So at what point do we start making better decisions, especially if it's going to affect us economically? We don't want to stay in the hood because we don't like it. But if staying in the hood is going to get you there, because I'm sure Ron could go to the projects. But what did Ryan say? What did Ryan say? I got $50,000 worth of equipment. He ain't finna take that to the projects. He ain't finna take it.
I surely ain't moving in with no roommate.
So
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
so he got some exes already, and I ain't saying they make him wrong. I'm just saying these are choices, and he got to live with his choices. When
so hold up, right there. Hold
on. The first housing crash that we had, you know why it came by? Because as we were applying for loans, and you could put in there, and this was all of everything, they'll tell you, oh, you qualify for a $200,000 house. You ain't did your own math and realize you can't pay for no $200,000 house unless you give up your car, your lights, no gas, no cable, no nothing. So we got caught in that because they kept telling us when I got my first house, they said, oh, you qualify for $250. My first house was $106 because they math didn't add up to my math. I knew what I could afford to pay for. I can't afford to pay. At the top end, yes. But again, it meant I wasn't going to eat no more. I wasn't going to be able to watch TV. I wasn't going to have no lights. I was going to live in the cold. I was going to have to get blankets. So we fall into that trap of them telling us we can afford something.
Predatory.
We do the same thing with cars. And you buy a car. Oh, I can get you in this for little or nothing. And then we go for it. And that's all I'm saying. We got to look at the decisions we make and stop making excuses. Even if
here's the thing. Hold on. Listen.
I got you. If Ryan want that Cadillac and that's what he want, Ryan got to realize that Cadillac gonna mean he got to give up certain things if it don't fit into his prearranged budget. We don't budget before we buy. We buy and then try to budget.
But we're not disagreeing with. That's the thing you're missing. We're not disagreeing with you on that. We're not at all. We're not disagreeing. We're not saying that people should not. You have to be prudent with what you make.
And we are.
But what you make has to be commensurate with what the economy bases. Darren, everybody's not going to be a salaried employee. You can't get, no. Come on now, you know this. Everybody can't go out and get a job that's going to pay them a salary. We are going to have hourly workers in this world regardless. Those
what is Ron doing as an hourly worker?
Like you said, hold up. Those people should not have to have 3 and 4 jobs to live. Hold on and listen to the word. To live a reasonable life. I ain't say comfortable. Let me change that.
I like that.
Reasonable is comfortable. Reasonable is comfortable. I ain't saying flashy. I ain't saying he gonna have everything. They are not gonna have all that stuff. I'm not saying that, but I should be able. If I'm working a minimum wage, it is just me. If I'm working a minimum wage job and it's just me, I should be able to go somewhere, find a 1-bedroom home or a studio, like you said, and pay my lights, pay whatever utility. Usually all that stuff is wrapped up in the price. I should be able to do that and still be able to have something left to do other things. And I'm not talking about eating is something that we need to be able to do, damn it. So you got to be able to eat. Now, did I say you got to be able to have a vehicle? No, you don't. Did I say that you have to be able to go out to Longhorn and all these other places every week? No, you should not. I'm the first person to tell you, if you want something, damn it, save up for it and get it. But we have to put this country has to get to a point where the people who are what did we find out the last 2 years? Who were the people that had to still take their asses to work? The essential workers, people working hourly jobs at the grocery stores, at the fast food, at the gas station. All their asses still had to go to work when the rest of us are able to do our salary jobs from home. And these people having to get all the stuff. So we are totally agreeing with everything that you're saying about the responsibility. You know, I'm all about the personal responsibility. But you cannot say that the corporations and these companies, who you are exactly right, they have now switched their primary focus is their profit margin. Well, we as the consumer base, we as the country have to be like, you know what? if you motherfuckers ain't gonna pay, excuse me, you know, so you gotta be cussing over here. If y'all ain't gonna pay these people who working for y'all some legit money, so that, cause listen, I will walk out of a Walmart if they don't have no registers open. I will walk out of at Kroger. I done literally left my basket right there at Kroger when they told me I had to go through the self-checkout line. Nigga, I did not work here. You ain't giving me a 20% discount. Damn it, I'm not ringing my own food up. And I done left all that shit sitting right there. Because if people don't, and this is the funny thing, I think I told you about this on What a Show. I was at a Walmart complaining one day, and the guy came up to me talking about something. Oh no, man, this technology. He all happy for it. He worked here. I'm like, dude, do you realize that you are throwing your own job away for them to be able to do this? Because they gonna get to a point where hell, they ain't gonna need you to do it. So the companies have to be able to pay people a wage that will allow them to be able to do stuff. I believe that $15 to $20. Now, some cities, yes, it's always going to be different because the cost of living is different. But they need to have a national minimum wage that is $15. And how do we change McDonald's and them saying they go into the stuff? I guarantee you, if people stop going to McDonald's because it ain't no cashiers there, guess what McDonald's gonna do? They gonna bring them damn cashiers back.
I bet they don't.
Shit.
Wow.
Roy, you sitting there and you are failing to understand technology. You know, you look online and see what people's number one complaint is about going to places now. Customer service. You know why? Because people are rude.
That can be fixed.
You're right. It's got to be fixed by who, Roy? The person who has the job. If I'm spending my money, so if I'm spending my money at this Walmart, is it easy for me to go do a self-checkout or put up with this chick's attitude? Guess what? I'm doing a self-checkout because I don't care if she lose her job, because clearly she don't. See, we saying it. People don't want to put in the work to get where they are, Roy. I didn't get to a salary.
You're using an outlier situation.
Well, Roy, you see it every day. People talk about customer service. Why don't they support black businesses?
So, D,
customer service. Why don't they go to
what do we need to do? You need to hold people responsible. Remember how we talked about tips?
But that's
Remember how we talked about tips?
Roy, say it again. We need to hold people responsible. So if you want something, you got to figure out how to get that something done. Guess who?
No, you got to. If you're in that job, you got to provide better customer service.
No, you don't.
Leave your issues at the damn door.
Roy, oh my goodness. Roy, stop the madness. See, clearly, when business people get into business for one reason, that is to make money. You know what the easiest way for me to make money is to automate myself. Automate. The more robots and shit all I gotta do now is pay for maintenance. I don't need Ryan. If I can get a machine to go by and hit checkpoints, what I need Ryan for? So Ryan got a shitty attitude. People complaining. People ain't never complained about robots. People ain't never complained about them. If McDonald's got a machine that's gonna make a burger that look like the one on TV versus the one we get with shit sliding off and they don't put no ketchup on it, Roy, they ain't gotta pay no more. And that's what we keep failing to understand. They ain't gotta pay us no more if we ain't gonna work harder. They ain't got to.
You're saying two different things, man. You're saying two different things, Darren. Yes, you are.
No, Roy. You said that people that business people gonna have to pay more. They ain't never gotta pay more because Roy, what's the number one way people buy stuff now? Online. Guess what that means? All these people in stores are already becoming archaic. They becoming archaic. Look at the people complaining about Amazon, the number one seller. They talking about the work conditions at Amazon. Amazon making money hand over foot, and they still ain't getting paid good money. So we sitting there keep talking about what they should do. And again, if we wait on what people should do, as we say, oh, everybody need to buy black, buy from me. And if I got my black business and I'm telling Ryan to buy from me, and I want to charge above average prices because I don't care about Ryan's situation, because what's the complaint? What do all black people post? Don't come in asking for discounts. But then Ryan already saying he ain't over the top. So if he gonna purchase from me, I need to give him a discount. You don't see people talking about I'm gonna give a discount to people who make less money. So the argument is still invalid, Roy, because people ain't finna change. Well, you just ain't the cuss for me. We see that every time we see black people posting about who asking for discounts. Why do people?
You're saying you're talking about two different situations.
What am I talking? What you saying?
Hold on, I'm gonna tell you because this is something that we've talked about before on the show. Customer service is one thing. You're absolutely right. We shouldn't have to deal with nobody's shitty attitudes. And hold on, let me ask you. So let me ask you this. Because you used to do used to be A+ security for the club.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a security guard that was at Barley's that was pissing everybody off that came through the door, as the owner of that business, what are you going to do?
He gone.
Exactly. Businesses have to now start making sure that their employees follow whatever customer service rules and regulations they have. And it's up to the people, and this is where you put the personal responsibility on the individual. I worked in sales. I have one of those personalities that people like to talk to me. So guess what? I made a lot of damn money selling clothes. And I hate sales. But I was good at it because people like talking to me, and I'm cordial. I'm respectful. I deal with people. I listen to them. Why? Because damn it, my ass is at work, and that's what I'm there to do. So yes, it is about the responsibility. But at the same time, if I wasn't making money that was comfortable for me and that allowed me to do some of the things that I wanted to do, guess what? I'm not going to stay there. Hell, I had Rent-A-Center come steal me away from Office Max because they were like, man, you need to be making way more money than what you making here. We're going to pay you A, B, C, and D. And guess what happened? I was going a month. Office Max called me back and like, how much are they paying you? We need you back. So it's up to, you're absolutely right. It's up to the individual, but the companies still have to be responsible for treating their people fairly. That is the biggest challenge we have because this technology stuff, I guarantee you, if all the people did, and I won't even say all the people, you get 20% of the people doing what I do and saying, you know what, damn it, if y'all ain't gonna have somebody, I didn't work all day at my job and then come to Walmart, Kroger, or whatever to check myself out. If you did that and y'all say, you know what, I'm leaving shit right here, I guarantee you that Walmart, that Kroger, they're gonna start having more cashiers. And here's a simple proof for you, based on your argument. What happened from Thanksgiving to Christmas to New Year's at Walmart? What happened?
I don't know.
You don't know what happened? Really? You don't realize that all of a sudden they go from 2 cashiers on a daily basis to 12 on a daily basis? Because they know more people are coming in. They will do it when it's necessary and when people force their hands. That's one of the reasons, and I know you have your opinions about unions. When unions are done right, it makes it better for the employees. But just like any system, a union can be manipulated and treated the wrong way.
That's the fact. And can I say something?
Go ahead, Ryan.
I want to piggyback off of what you said. My seatbelt will start chiming as soon as I start talking. But
you should have had it on, you lawbreaker.
I know, right? I know. Don't give me no ticket. Don't give me no ticket. I'm putting it on right now. But what I was getting ready to say, right, was the number, piggybacking off of what you said, right, D? What we got to remember about businesses, right? A guy said this to me, right? He said, you know what creates Fortune 500 companies? Successful Fortune 500 companies? I said, what's that? He said, happy employees. Happy workers. Like, happy workers will break their neck, they break their back, and they create wealth. Like, not riches, but wealth. And if you got people that aren't happy because they're not being paid reasonable wages, which is a much better, what Roy said was spot on. That's what I was trying to say. Like, I wasn't trying to say livable. I just, you know how you have your, for lack of a better term, moment, but reasonable is fair. Because when you in an in-depth contract negotiation, number one rule of business, any business, buy low, sell high, right? You go into a pawn shop, you could just, I could buy a pair, I could buy a laptop that I know was $1,500 in the Apple store, right? And it'd be a pawn shop right next door to the Apple store. What's the pawn shop people gonna do? I'll give you $150 for it. Then they'll even sit in front of you and insult your intelligence even more and be like, let me look and see what it's worth. Negro, you know what it's worth. Like, don't even open that up. Like, so as workers, as consumers, and as citizens, we got to know what our worth is because we are the components of the machine, and the machine don't move without us. Like, it just don't. So if we don't set the standards to say, look, You know, all we asking for is a fair shot. When we look at our paycheck, we should be able to pay food. We should be able to pay life. We should be able to, when they deduct health insurance, it shouldn't be $400 a month for health insurance, like coming out of our check. You know, we should be able to, you know, go out with the family and spend like $100 after the food, after the rent is paid, after the lights is paid, after the gas is paid, you know, and the miscellaneous, the food, you know, everything went up like 20-30%. So all I'm saying is you can't shift everything to men being macho. Another thing I want to piggyback off of what you said, though, D. Black men already got a cloud over their head for not having their own shit because they settle for living with these women and not caring about nothing but Xbox. No 5-year projections, no going to pick up a trade, a hobby, or nothing. My chick makes what she makes. She's going to cover it. I'm cool with it. So we got to do extra to get that stigma off our backs. That's the problem. It's not enough initiative. These black men, I hate to say it, they're not getting out here and getting to the fucking money. Excuse my expression. So it can look like we all got that stigma on our back. If a black man's winning, I'm going to celebrate with him. If a black man's losing, I'm going to take some of that too, because I'm not one of those, when Barack become president, it's us. You know what I'm saying? But then when R. Kelly go to jail, it ain't us no more. Now, I wouldn't do what R. Kelly did, but that's the shit that make us look bad, that we need to be paying attention to behavioral patterns and stuff like that. So not to get too far off of it, you said something about men choosing to have their own because they want to be macho and they want to just go to, I'd rather be macho and I'd rather have ego. That's just not something that, you know, like, I mean, some of the losers in our black men have egos. The men that don't have shit have egos. But the men that know that they want to get somewhere and they know what the requirement is of these women, we just looking bad out here. We don't have our own. And everything's against us. The system, everything is against us. But I'm not going to play the victim or talk like the victim because I'm not the victim because I have choices, which I agree with what you said. That's where I agree. I have choices. So I'm not going to join a gang. I'm not going to rob a 7-Eleven. I'm not going to wear a flag. Like, I'm not going to carjack someone, you know. So if I make choices outside of that, then that's fine. But what takes away from our choices as black men is that systematically, it's always going to be 10 times harder for us. We're going to get the shitty hand every time. But this is where I agree with you, D. It don't stop us from pulling together and saying, yo, let's start a business. Like, you messed up. Like, I can't afford a $20 lunch today, but I got 10. So I agree with you on that. But until we cross paths at the right time, at the perfect moment, at the right time, right? Like, we got to be able to be given a fair shot. The men that want to get off of their behinds and do something. You understand what I'm saying? Because black men ain't looking good in society. It's just what it is, D. You know that, and I know that. So I'm not working 80 hours because I want to. I'm working 80 hours because I have to. You understand what I'm saying? I would rather be doing what I love for 40 hours and then working my job for 40 hours and being able to pay my rent, pay my lights, pay my car. My car is not a struggle, though. That's just what it is. That's just what I like. So I'm able to allocate that to, you know, but everything else, like you said, if you decide to catch the bus instead of, like, you know, buying a car or getting a used car, that's fine. But another variable, let's say you get a used car, your luck might be different. You spend like $1,500 on a used car and then the transmission go on you. You know what I'm saying? And then once you fix the transmission, the radiator go bad on you. Then once you fix the radiator, now all of this money that so one way or another, you're going to spend the money. So it's still going to boil down to the choice. So some people say, I ain't for none of that shit. So I'd rather just pay a note, get an extended warranty. If my fucking tire go flat, it's covered. I don't even got to dig in my pocket. Yo, like, one of my tires flat, I need y'all to take care of that, regardless of how much it is. So for some people, it's about the security. But what I was saying is a person should be able to live off of $15 an hour, which means when I go apply for an apartment, if I don't qualify, I can't live off of that. You understand what I'm saying? But if I get a roommate, am I living off of my $15 an hour, or am I living off a percentage of my $15 an hour if somebody else is paying half the rent? And then if somebody else is paying half the utilities, and then if I'm only kicking out a certain amount for gas so that I won't have to get a bus pass or buy my own car, I'm still not living off the full potential of my income. That's not a fair or reasonable income. That's my thing. D, I'm with you. I'm on board. What can we do to get things community-based again? Community-based. Somebody gets shot in the neighborhood, ain't nobody see shit unless it's their kid, unless it's their loved one. Ain't nobody see shit. Don't talk to my kid. Don't chastise my kid. I know you seen my kid robbing somebody, but don't say nothing to mine. That's mine. And as soon as something happens to theirs, then it's like, can somebody tell me what's going on with mine, or why ain't anybody tell me? You know, so that's where we're failing at, where that nothing is community-based. Our grandmothers kept the communities together. Like, everything was different when grandmoms with grandmoms.
Who kept it together? I want you to say it again.
The grandmoms.
And why did she keep? What was grandpa?
And grandpa was like the foundation for sure.
Where was he that he didn't keep it together?
He was at work.
And working how many hours? Working what? 6 to 7 hours a week because he was the only provider. Yes.
Yeah.
See,
grandpa.
Right. So we got a foundation. See, even back then, they weren't working 40 hours a week trying to come up. We still keep going right back to it. And we go back to excuses. Most of us saw this. Grandpa wasn't around for those of us who were raised with it because he was working. He was working to sustain that. Not our 40 hours, because to make it to where it was livable, comfortable, whatever words y'all want to use, he had to do more. Because she couldn't work because she wasn't gonna make nothing. So we keep doing the same thing.
D, hold up. I'm gonna inject one thing. Because I just had this conversation. With my uncle yesterday. See, we gotta remember something. Back in them days, see, this is the one caveat to that. Grandmama and granddaddy had 15 and 20 damn children. So yeah, he had to work. He had to work that. Both my grandparents, one of my grandmamas had 9 children, the other one had 10.
Yeah.
So that's a different situation. Right. If you got a reasonable 3 to 4 kids, he wouldn't have had to work 50 and 60 hours. Damn. They didn't have to do that back then. That was the whole point of it.
So again, we go back to number 2 and 3, choices and excuses. If you want something, then if you don't put it in the plan, you don't stick with that plan, Roy, that is on us. It ain't on our employer. It ain't on no business to compensate us for choices and decisions that we make that go against our own.
We agree on that.
So, but y'all keep saying the same thing. If we make make decisions that affect our economic status. If I let me finish.
Go ahead.
If I choose to get Trina pregnant, it ain't nobody's job to give me a raise. That's something that I have to comply for. When me and Trina were house hunting, we saw a house that we really liked. I did the numbers before anybody talked to me. I said, Trina, if we get this house, we're not gonna have cable. You're gonna have to cook every day. We may go out once a year because this is at the top end of my budget. This is at the top end. I don't care what USAA say. I don't care what SunTrust say. This is at the top end. When we go out house shopping, home shopping, car, whatever it is, we don't have a budget in mind to know where we are so that we can stay comfortable. So we sit there and we let people throw numbers at us and we hear them individually. And we say, oh, I can afford this, I can afford that. We don't hear them collectively because we don't add them up. When you get a car note and it's $250, but you ain't call your insurance company to see what the insurance is going to be, you don't realize that your $250 car note now becomes $400. You were cool with $250. This is decisions that we make. These are our choices, and then we say, "Oh, it's I need my employer to pay me better." Guess what? All employers do when you sign a contract with them, you know what they're going to pay you to start with. You got a choice then, yes or no.
CD, hold up. Let me clarify something. Let me clarify.
Hold up, right?
I gotta clarify this with you and Farad saying no, because y'all saying, listen, D, listen to this one point seriously. D, listen, listen. No, D, yes, I am. Listen, D, let me say this real quick, and I'm gonna clarify what we're saying about agreeing with you. You are absolutely right. This is what we were talking about. When we're talking about minimum wage, we are talking about the individual the one person. You are absolutely right. If I turn around on minimum wage and get my wife pregnant or get my girlfriend pregnant, it is not my employer's job to give me a raise just because I got her pregnant and now we have another mouth to feed. That is on me to now change the situation of what the hell I'm doing, which either means go get another minimum wage job or move up to the next level and find me that salary job you're talking about. See, that's the difference you're talking about. I'm talking about the individual when it comes to minimum wage. I said the one person should be able to live off of minimum wage. I didn't say ball. I didn't say do none of that shit. You're right. When I make a decision, if my black ass make $15 an hour and I go out and say, you know what? I want to get this car. And now all of a sudden it's going to take me $25 to live because I got, like you said, insurance, gas, and upkeep and a car note. Damn it, that's on me. Yeah. You're right. That is not on my employee. This is what we're telling you. What we're saying is about the individual, not the choice. Once we start making those choices that change our situation, that's when the responsibility, like you said, rolls back to me to change, not my employer. It rolls back to me to make a difference.
Absolutely.
Both of y'all have said the same thing, that they need to pay you more. Before you got hired.
No, we're talking about from minimum wage. We're talking about minimum wage at this point.
I wouldn't care what we was talking about. Roy, once you take a job, they tell you what they're going to pay you. You have a choice at that point. I have turned down jobs because they didn't pay what I wanted. When you take that job, you know what you are getting paid. I hate it when people say, oh, sheriffs should get paid more. You knew what the job offered before you took the job. If you didn't like the pay, don't take the job. It's that simple.
And we're agreeing with you on that.
No, you're not, because you can't. Right, you said, no, right. You said, play the tape. You said that employers got to pay more. They ain't got to pay more because somebody else will take that job.
D, when I say that,
never got to pay more. What
D,
did
when I
say?
say the employers got to pay more, I'm an advocate for minimum wage being up. I don't think minimum wage should be $7 an hour.
That means they got to pay more. They ain't got to when people gonna take it.
I'm saying
they ain't got to. And we keep talking about what they got to do. They ain't got to.
Yeah, see that, and we disagree on that.
You can disagree on that. Have they increased it? No, they haven't. So ain't that to disagree on.
Watch what's gonna happen by the end of the year, like I told you. Watch what's gonna happen by the end of the year.
We sat back and talked about essential workers, and who were essential workers? Who were they? They were low income, mostly people of color, essential workers. And they still didn't say, hey, for doing this hard work, we're going to give y'all a tax break. For doing this hard work, we're going to bump all up to $15. They didn't do that. But guess who kept making money? Execs kept making money. Because guess what people wanted to do? They knew we had to go eat. So they could raise the price in grocery stores without giving anybody a raise. People start working now. Oh, they ain't paying me enough. And guess what? 15 still beat 0 every day, all day. So they ain't got to pay because people gonna always want something. Minimum wage is $7.75, I think. So if somebody paying $15, that means they paying twice minimum wage. And people saying, oh, well, that still ain't enough. What are you bringing to the table that I should give you more? What are you bringing to the table? What? That I got to negotiate with you for a training or whatever it is you don't have. Why I got to do more? Why don't all football players make the same amount? Why don't all basketball players pay the same amount? They pay you based on performance. See, we don't want to perform, but we want to get paid like performers. We don't want to do that hard work. I didn't say you said it. I just said it. I ain't say you said nothing. I'm telling you why we ain't gonna get it. We do not put it up. When you are valuable to a company, in your example, Roy, you left. You provide a service. They bid it for you to come back. Most of us ain't biddable. When we leave, the company will replace us just like that because we weren't as important and valuable as we thought we were. Because this is what we tell ourselves over and over and over and over and over. When we leave, they bring somebody in just like that because we are replaceable. We are so replaceable. Now, you got a lot of companies who went up because the job market said ain't nobody working because now Burger King went up to 10, Chick-fil-A went up to 12, Burger King went up to 13, Chick-fil-A went up to 15. Now everybody want to pay 15. So now we just doubled your pay and you telling me you still can't live off of it? So how much of my gross, my revenue am I going to give up to make you happy? Because we see it all the time.
Okay, so-
Gas prices $5, $6, $7. But guess what's gonna come out in January? How much of a bonus all these gas executives got? It didn't have to go up. They knew that they had consumers who would buy. Supply and demand determines everything, not personal preferences. Supply and demand. So as long as I got people who will need this, I ain't got to do this. See, so I can sit back and I can play a waiting game with Ryan. Ryan don't want to work unless I'm gonna give him a raise. So you know what I do? As soon as minimum wage go up, and ask people in Seattle watching how this work. When they raise minimum wage, employers start cutting hours. So you may make the dollar amount, but now you ain't gonna get the hours because companies are gonna make it work for them. Now I'm gonna cut some of your benefits since I gotta pay you this much, and it happens every time, over and over. We lose more every time we gain something. We lose more, and these unions don't help nothing because
that's where we disagree. I was just about to say that's where unions come in.
When you work in a career, every time you get a raise, every single time you get a raise, guess what go up? Your health care. Every single time. Every single time. So at what point does the union help? What point does a union help?
Well, if they do it, if they do what they're supposed to, and the workers stay unified, the unions do help. You know where you can see the best example of that, and it's extreme. But look at the NBA. The NBA union has gotten those guys so much more money and control over the league that Jordan them could have never thought about having. So unions, and I said this at the beginning, unions are useful if they're being treated and used the right way, and people aren't using them for their own personal gain. That's just systems. We understand that that's how systems work.
Let's take the NBA, Roy, because that's one of the worst examples. LeBron James just became a billionaire. Where did he get the bulk of his money from?
You talking about the endorsements? But wait a minute, dude. How you say the NBA is the worst example? Please explain that.
Because the NBA is notoriously, they have notoriously underpaid. They have notorious. Where did Michael Jordan get the bulk of his money from? Nike. It didn't come from Chicago.
But D, hold on. So no. So let me explain why you say underpaid. But you have to look at what they were getting. This is what was happening with the NBA. The revenue share from the old contract that they had was literally skewed like 80-20 to the owners, where the owners were making the majority of the money from the sponsorship dollars and the television deals that they had. They were also doing, it was something else that they had in there. And these guys went in and negotiated. One, they raised the minimum wage. And then they tell, we're going to take less of, I forget what it was, but they took less of something to get more of the television and broadcast deals that they got. And the argument was the people aren't coming to see the owners. They're coming to see the players. They turn on the TV to see the players. So now the players are getting 55% of that same money you're talking about that goes into their union stuff, into their people to take care of players who may not be able to last as long as your top tier players can if something comes up. That money is going to be 10 times as much as any of those individuals could have ever gotten on their own endorsement deals being at the lower levels. So the union did what it was supposed to do. Again, when a union has the best interest of the overall group and not just a select few, they will do something. Like I said, you talk about unions like I talk about some of these people in the church. We know we got issues with them people. You got issues with union people. So
I ain't got no issue with them. I know what they do. They do what works. Right. When somebody comes to negotiate, trust. Every owner knows what they're willing to do because they know what an employee brings. But guess what? They know how much they want to make they want to be comfortable and happy. They ain't giving up no more than that. If I can make 80% off you because I'm gonna use Ryan. Ryan is a great employee. Hell, he a great supervisor. Ryan don't realize he can get $57 from me. So when I offer Ryan a job, Ryan making 15, so I say, Ryan, I'm gonna give you $22. Ryan be like, shit, that's what's up. Not realizing that my breaking point is 57.
Exactly.
57. Which is what happened with the NBA, because ain't now owner lost not now dollar through lockouts and nobody playing. Then none of them owners lose not now dollar. Why is that? But players lost money during the lockout, but not now NBA owner lost money, because they know what their point is, that they ain't giving up for nobody. So when they make a concession, that concession is BS, because it's still below what they were willing to do, because they sit there and they play a game hoping won't nobody blink. And that's the whole point, because the union rep get his money. Like Maurice got his for the NFL, even though he got them a shitty deal. The NBA union people doing the same thing. They make sure they get paid, and we're gonna give y'all something better. It still ain't good, because there is no reason that any player should make his owner. LeBron don't make what the bus is making. He is the Lakers. Magic didn't do it. He was the Lakers. Kobe didn't do it. Jordan didn't do it. So they still getting a minuscule amount, and they told to be happy with it, because that's all you're gonna get. No matter how, everywhere Jordan went, people sold out the stadium. Jordan didn't get a cut of that. He wasn't gonna get a cut. That's not what businesses do. That's not what they gonna ever do. Ever.
We disagree on that. We disagree on that.
You can disagree, but Jordan didn't get no money from the Hawks. Jordan didn't get no money from the Celtics. You can disagree. It don't change the reality of it.
But D, here's the reality, right? LeBron James calls the shots, and the franchise know, and these are facts. You can look it up yourself. Listen, LeBron James chooses the players, right? He chooses which team he wants to go to, and this is what workers have the same right to do, right? Workers have the same. We don't know what our value is. Well, I know what my value is, because I walked away from Brink. I literally clocked out and said, you know what? I don't like my time to be played with, because they have a structure and a schedule for me. And they just wanted me to come at 5 o'clock in the morning, sit in the break room for 3 hours and say, we're going to figure out what truck we're going to send you on. Then we had to jump start the truck. Like all of it. No, my time's too valuable for that shit. Swipe, I'm going home. Right? Now I get a call from the crew chief. Then I get another call from the general manager. Then I get another call from the district manager. Like, listen, I'm not sure what happened, but what can we work out? So this is what we can work out, right? It's not fair. Just like y'all got a schedule of who goes out, how much y'all going to spend, what time the trucks come back. Like, I don't know about nobody else, but this is what I need to be doing for me. So if y'all can't meet that, I'm good, right? So this is where I'm with you on the decision-making thing. But yes, back in the day, Jordan didn't have the privileges that LeBron has now. Like, he makes all the decisions on his career right now, right? Why can't we? Because the franchise or the business or the company, the machine don't run without the components. So the employees are the components. So this is deeper than whatever number you want to talk about. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. What's not adding up is the requirements to live versus what they're offering to pay. You got to be able to prove that you bring in a certain amount. This is how the economy is ran. The economy is ran. You want the studio apartment? I need to see 3 times the rent, because studios is going for $1,200 now. When they was like $750, $800. They're going for $1,150, $1,200 now. I need to see 3 months rent, right? At, let's say, $1,150, right? You outside of your means, you can't live. You can't cover the bare necessities to keep a roof over your head, because the requirement ran by this system that's governed by this job, that the job governed by the system says, look, we need 3. We need 3. Give me some check stubs that say you make more than $2,400. So mind you, it ain't even $2,400 no more after they take state, after they take federal, and then here they don't take state. They just do federal here in Florida. So that varies, but that's what I mean when I say an individual can't live off of this number, because the bar keeps rising. So we could pick a number, but think about how many times inflation took place versus how many times people got raises that were loyal to their jobs, loyal to their positions. Let's talk about where they pushed the retirement age back. And people are dying at 60. My pop died at 60 from colon cancer. And y'all gonna push the fucking retirement age back, knowing good and well that people ain't even living that fucking long no more, like they was back in the day. They putting shit in the food, they adding shit in the food that's making people sick and is breaking down their life expectancy. So as a people, this is shit we gotta be woke to. Like, how many times does your rent increase versus your pay being able to increase? Because it's not fair for us to have everybody standing in front of us when we move into an apartment. Let me see your check stub. When we apply for a car, let me see your check stub. Even if you go to a used car lot, let me see your check stub. If it's a buy here, pay here. Like, it's always going to boil down to that. So at what point do we address, there's no fucking way that we can live off of this new minimum wage. And we can't, you know, so people was getting excited when they heard that minimum wage was going up to 15. That was the number. And it's still not there. You're right, D. Like, I'm seeing $11.75 minimum wage state placards in people's fucking break rooms and shit. But you got Amazon paying 17, 18 hours an hour. That's a start. You could do something with 17, 18, 15. You're right. That's like summer job money. That's like I'm still living at home and my parents is going to pay the other half.
Or you could stay at home and save some money. See,
it's 30. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I get that part.
Why not stay at home and save your money? See, again,
because everybody don't have that option though, D. Everybody don't have that option.
Yeah,
like everybody don't have parents.
You don't need
like
parents. You don't
like
Ryan. You took your job.
You say stay at home. Go ahead.
Say something. You took a job with Brinks, right?
Yes.
The Army service, right? So
yes.
And you say they paying you whatever they paying you.
Mm-hmm.
If they rob the armored truck and shoot at it, what's the going price for getting shot at? But everybody who works for Brinks has to accept the fact that they may get shot at. What's the going rate for getting shot at? So under that auspices, ain't nobody getting paid enough, but you got to accept what they're doing. And you don't have to live with your parents. But if you got to go out and find somebody, and life is all about taking chances and understanding them. We may have to reach out beside ourselves and find a roommate. I don't care how you find them. That's what, instead of dating, go roommate hunting. Find somebody who is like-minded and needs something. But this ain't what we want to do. We keep wanting somebody else to help us out. At some point, we are going to get tired of waiting for somebody to give us a handout to snatch it back. At some point, we have got to take control of this collective that we possess. See, what we won't talk about is the people that we do know with money, because we know people who got houses. We know people who got money. Why don't they buy houses and make them affordable? When they tell us about this BS Greenwood Bank that all the black people are supposed to invest their money in that's going to help you do stuff, where are they? See, they quick to take our money. We quick to blame the government. We don't blame who's taking our money. But all these churches that take our money, why don't we ask them for something? See, this is on us because we want to keep trying to control big companies. We can't control them. Those are billionaires. They don't care. They don't care. Every dollar they lose is a tax write-off. This is why they don't have to do anything they don't want to do. When they go up to $15 an hour, it's because they was already making big bucks. When the guy from Arizona said he ain't going up on Arizona tea, that big can is still 99 cents. It told us two things. It told us, one, he has always been overcharging us, but we still felt like we was getting value for that money. Because now in the economic age where everything is going up, them Arizona's still 99 cents. But man, that meant he had to be making big bank off of it long time ago. But guess what? It didn't bother us because we felt like we were getting a good value. So
it was probably costing him like 20 cents. It's probably costing him 20 cents to make the tea.
So, but we saw this.
It would be. Go ahead.
But we saw this big Arizona can for 99 cents. But we'll still buy a Sprite for $3. See, that was us making bad choices. We should have been supporting Arizona all along instead of buying Sprite and Coke that was constantly raising and getting smaller and smaller. See, these are choices that we made, and we didn't get behind Arizona. When Coke did something, we fussed at them. When we see it happening, we don't do anything. We make excuses, and we say, oh, well, they should have did this, when all we had to do was do something different. It's just like the bus boycott and I tell you about we're going to boycott and make a change. Understand how boycotts work. The only reason the Montgomery bus boycott worked is because they planned for a year ahead of time so that the people who had to work could get to work. They didn't just up and do it because they felt like it, which is what we do. If you want change, change takes time. We have to be willing to sacrifice. So if we're going to make this sacrifice, we got to understand what sacrifices are. See, and that's why, you know, and your post was great, because when I put down that people are living in excess, and the first, and you had said, but dude was like, man, grapes cause this, then don't get grapes. You may have to give up grapes. You may have to give up smoking. You may have to give up drinking to make your life more affordable, not comfortable, but affordable. Because that's the word that we need to look for. What's affordable to me? Why did some of us go to the matinee movie? Because it cost $1 versus paying $6.75 for the regular one. See, we had to make choices. But the dollar movie started at 12 o'clock. I got to be at work at 11. Well, I got to wait till my day off to go to that movie now because I can't afford this $7 movie with my date and the popcorn and all this other stuff. But the $5 I save by going to the matinee, the $10 now if I got a date, now I can get popcorn and a soda and we can share it. See, these are the things where we got to stop making excuses and realize we got to make adjustments because they're not going to make adjustments for us. They're not.
How do you adjust? So I have a question for you.
Go ahead, sir.
I'm gonna directly challenge everything you just said. With
I want you to directly challenge me.
I need a direct answer to.
I'm gonna give you a direct answer I can give you.
Now you said adjustments. So we're gonna stay there, right?
Okay.
A person that has to accept making $15 an hour until a better opportunity presents itself, right?
Mm-hmm.
What adjustments do a person that's making $15 an hour make if the living, and then now mind you, everybody don't have the luxury of finding a roommate because things are happening to people. So people's trust level is gone, you might as well say. The people's trust level is non-existent. Like people are meeting people on social media and weird stuff is happening to them. So that's just a reality that we don't talk about. So it sounds convenient to say, all right, well, why can't you just get a roommate and split the bill? Yes, that sounds convenient, but then you got to think, like you got to build a rapport with these people. You got to take a chance with rooming with these people that you don't trust. So now all that you have to your name, to your identity, your trust in this mutual space with these people, and you got more to lose than what you brought to the table before you moved in with the person. Here's my question. How do a person that makes $15 an hour, $2,400 a month, adjust to a situation that requires him to make 3 times that amount? Like, how do you adjust? Like, how do you make that adjustment? What's the adjustment? Hold on one second.
Ooh, man, it's almost time to go. I want to make sure he get this.
Oh no, I'm good. Yeah. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. Yes, sir. No, my bad. One of my make sure I didn't get kidnapped out here. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the adjustment.
Yo, man. I love the content, man. I love the content, man. I learned a lot from what you said. Roy was definitely dropping science, man. Like this was a dope discussion, bro.
But here's what you got to do. We have to do a better job of vetting people, because right now, if I was in trouble, I could reach out and get 2 people to rent. So if you don't know anybody, this is what we have to do better with our circle and what we can control, because you don't know nothing about anybody. You will never know 100% what anybody will do, but you got to be able to make those. You got to be able to make those decisions on the fly, and you got to take chances. Here, you get a job. You don't know who you're working with. I was a cop. I don't know who I was working with, but when I go on a call, I don't get to pick who come on that call with me. I got to trust they're gonna do their job.
That's a fact.
So I'm gonna take you for instance. You got a bunch of equipment in your house. So if you ask me, then yeah, you probably need a 3-bedroom because you need to put a lock on that 3rd bedroom so you can put your stuff in there. There are things that we can do, but it still will decrease it will decrease how much you spend it now. And so there are ways that we got to do. It's whether or not we want to do them. I don't want to give this up. I don't want to give this up. And we talked about it before on a different level. But when it comes to life, you got to know what your preferences are, what your priorities are. You said something about chicken costing this much. Well, if chicken costs too much, guess what? You can't eat chicken. You gotta you making a peanut butter and jelly salad. So guess what you need to be eating? Peanut butter and jelly. But I like chicken. It ain't about what you like. It's about what you can afford, so you can start getting ahead. See,
put you on that.
And we won't save money. See, we talk about, oh, well, what about an emergency or this? Again, let's look at the age of somebody. If you're 30 and you ain't saved up for an emergency, this job you just not getting ain't gonna get you there because you already behind the 8 ball. Again, you got to look at the choices that you made to get you there. What choices did you make? No matter how you feel about them, you got to accept responsibility for those choices that didn't work out so that you can do better the next time. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Not how did this person get over me? What did I do wrong to trust them to get there? Once you do this and you stop making excuses and say, you know what? Shit, I made a bad choice that time. And once you know why you made that bad choice, you can eliminate that bad choice the next time because you know what you did wrong.
Accountability.
I thought D was gonna be a good roommate because of this, because of everything I saw. But you never put D to the test. You never put D to the test. You never said, yo, D, let me borrow $20. Shit, if you would have known that D never had $20 to loan you, that would probably tell you that he ain't good with his money. And that's the things that we gotta look at. I'm married. How was I to know she would be a good wife or not? I don't know until we married, because she might have been a great girlfriend, but then once we get married, well, I ain't gonna never do it because you can't trust nobody. She's a woman. She might have had ulterior motives. She might be poisoning me as we talk. You can't be scared your whole life. What they say, scared money don't make money. So if you want to get ahead, you got to make decisions for that and live with the consequences. If it means you got to give up something for a little while, hey, I can't date for 6-7 months while I'm trying to save up this money. Then you got to let women go and get on your grind.
I've said it.
So when there was a point. There was a point I probably worked 80 hours a week, but I had a goal in mind. And when your friend was talking about depression, and I challenged him, working overtime and what make you depressed? Wondering where you gonna live or eat makes you depressed. And being depressed ain't the same as suffering from depression. That's why I hated when he said that, and I just moved away, because depression is a lifestyle. Being depressed is situational. But I guarantee you may be unhappy in your situation, but you'd be more unhappy if you didn't have a job and you got to figure out how you're going to do this. Now I got to think about getting rid of this car. Now I got to wonder where I'm going to lay my head. Because Cadillacs are nice cars, but you can only sleep in them they good to sleep in for 2 hours. They're not good to sleep in overnight, night after night after night.
They'll tear you up. They'll tear you up, yo.
Right. So this is where I say we have to do better. We can't keep asking for other people to do better for us, because if we leave it up to them to make the decision for us, we're going to be where we are now. We have never been their first priority. We look at other nationalities and we see how they do things. We see the Mexicans and we make fun of them. Man, there's 15 of them living in their house. But if the rent is $2,000 and it's 15 of them, look at what they paying collectively. But look at what they saving. So when it's time to move out, they can afford to lose 2 or 3 people. But when it's just you and something come up, what do you have to fall back on? Nothing. Now you behind the 8 ball, you struggling, you trying to rob Peter to pay Paul. You got to worry about, you got to make a decision whether you're going to have lights or heat. Now you got a bunch of decisions because you chose to do it all alone. That's a choice. Right. And so when you were talking about the $15, yeah, for some things you need other people. If they said, hey, Ryan, I'm gonna pay you $25 to work this site. Now, how many people at the site you work at now?
Yeah, a lot, because it's a whole branch, so it's a lot of trucks.
I'm gonna eliminate these. I'm gonna eliminate 4 positions and pay you $25. Now you got to do much more work. Is that gonna make? Now you're gonna be tired. That's what's happening with Amazon. They paying more money, but look how long the people ain't staying no more. They talk about the shitty work conditions. They can't be inactive for more than 3 minutes at a time without getting sent home. Mm-hmm. So is more money helping their situation? Because now they fatigued, they tired, they still need another job. So what's the trade-off? You ain't tired from working this job here. So when you go to your other job, you still well rested. That's true. We gotta make conscious decisions and say, hey, I ain't gonna do this forever, but for right now, this is what I need to do to get ahead. This is what I need to do to get ahead. And hey, man, we're gonna have to condemn this because I know Roy got another show coming up. I'm still want my music, Ryan. I want everybody to inbox Ryan. I'm gonna make a post about Ryan. Y'all come to the post and ask him why he ain't did no music for me yet. Because he does music. He sent me a song. If I knew he was gonna be here, I would have played it, but he snuck me. Yeah. So I want y'all to ask Ryan why he ain't did no theme music for me yet.
I'm on it now. They've been killing me with this 80 hours a week, man. I do breaks from 1 to 9, and then I go to Margaritaville, which is a dope place to work. And I do that 11 to 7. I go home, I sleep for 4 hours. I get up again at 12. I'm back here at 1. I do that every single day.
How old are you, Ryan?
46.
Okay, you 40. Okay, you do need more than 4 hours of sleep. I was gonna say if you under 40, then you don't need but like 20 minutes. But if you over 40, I'm gonna give you that.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm doing, like you said, you do what you got to do now to create a cushion. So this is about a cushion and a transition that I'm going through right now that requires me to do that. But like you said, if any expense that I have, if it's going to make me uncomfortable paying it, I'm going to get rid of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I just know that if I didn't have like the other job I got hired for, because I had the problem with Brinks, I walked out of Brinks. Brinks just ended up calling me back. And then an unexpected transition happened, right? Where that involved another party. And by the grace of God, I had another job. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so that offset some things for me, and it created a cushion for me. But if I only had Brinks, I would be in the jam. And unless I was blessed to run across a roommate, and then that would be the logical thing to do. If that's on the table, you definitely should do it, because you can't make it off of 15 by yourself. You know what I'm saying? But if you can make that 15 work, if you, like you said, if you be resourceful, be village minded, and get with people that's village minded. Let's eat together. Let's put in on these groceries. You know what I'm saying? I'm all for that. I think we need to do that more, because that's about to be the only hope we got left to become a village again. Because if we don't, we won't be able to. It's going to have to be multiple people in the household, because the requirements to live is raising, but the wages is not raising the way they're supposed to. So just like LeBron James could tell motherfuckers, look, I'm valuable to this company, right? You ain't just gonna offer me no peanuts. I know what's going on. Like, if I don't get in the truck, y'all don't get the money. What we talking about? And it could look like they could just replace me, but certain people you can't replace. You can't replace a LeBron James. You can't replace a Steph Curry. So everybody should have that attitude. I'm not asking you for a handout. I'm telling you what I bring to the company, and you're not going to rob me of what I'm worth. So what we talking about? So what you don't give me, somebody else is going to offer me. And then I'm going to comfortably walk away from that situation on faith, which I have, and then I get hired on the spot the same day that I walk out of Brinks. Swiped out, didn't tell nobody shit. Swiped out. Like, yo, y'all had me sitting in the break room for three hours without telling me, without me even knowing what I was going to do. And then when I finally got to the fucking truck, the truck had to be jump started. I was pissed. I said, fuck, swipe. I was out of that joint, yo. And guess what was making me mad? I said, I'm going to do this shit for $15 an hour. When by the time the general manager called me, they was like, look, we got a different position. Like, what can we do? Oh, we can most definitely work something out. So I agree with the one thing that you said wholeheartedly. We accept the first thing that somebody offer us. You know what I'm saying? And we be like, okay, and then be mad when they don't want to give us more. But that's what you told the person your worth was. That's what you told them your value was. LeBron James say, I'm not fucking playing, and let's see how many people y'all get in these seats. Like, if y'all don't get my contract right, I don't like this player, get him out of here. And then when the trade come out, what happened? This person's gone, that person's gone, third person's gone, because this person let their value be known to the organization that realizes we can't make no money without the players. So that's just the attitude that we need to have in order to survive, because they're taking advantage of us.
No,
you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying.
To make that work, you gotta have. To make that work, you got to have options. LeBron James is replaceable because Cleveland went on without it. Miami went on without him. Everybody's replaceable. You just need to know when you have it, it's like having a relationship. When you're in a relationship, everybody wants you. When you ain't in a relationship, nobody wants you. You don't have the same options. LeBron had options. Hell, look at Russ. Ain't a lot of people want Russ. Everybody's replaceable though. Bird was replaceable. Magic was replaceable. Jordan was replaceable. Because the system gonna go on. Did Chicago go bankrupt? Did Chicago go bankrupt when Jordan left? No, they didn't. They kept thriving. They kept making money. When he went to North Carolina, wherever he went to, what happened? Nothing. Chicago kept making money. Everybody's replaceable. You just need to know as an individual that you have value somewhere else so that you can lead. See,
the value of the team leaves. The value of the team leaves when the player leaves.
Chicago ain't lost no money when Jordan left. Don't believe Chicago was worth more today than they were when Jordan was around.
No.
LA is the Lakers are still gonna be a prime. Okay, look it up then. Factual speaking, look it up and see what Jordan didn't cost them nothing. That's why they were willing to let him go. They were willing to did they lose money in the arena? They probably did, but they made it up in revenue sharing. So everybody's replaceable. The NBA didn't stop when Jordan left. The NBA didn't stop when Magic retired. It's always been somebody else coming up the pipe. With your job, it's always somebody else who will do it because somebody else is going to want a job. So, and that's what we got to understand. But we got to have options. And what we got to start doing is we use the social media for everything else. When you need a roommate, shit, put on your page, hey man, I'm looking for a roommate. Anybody down? And then you get to vet the people on there. Right. You get to look at everything and say, I'm gonna pick him and go from there. But what they say, closed mouths don't get fed. If you don't tell people you need help, don't nobody know how to help you because ain't nobody trying to read your mind. And we gotta know. We gotta know that there are options out there. But we also got to know we got to put it out there so people know that we need that assistance, that we want to be a partnership. Mm-hmm. If you don't know it, people ain't going to guess it. But I got to go because he got another show. Hey, I'm going to get you back, brother. All right. I don't know how we're going to do it with your tough schedule, but I'm glad you came today. This is Random Thoughts with DVP. That was my special guest, Ryan Harley. Y'all check him out. Like I said, I'm going to make a post so y'all can ask him why he did my music yet because he ought to be able to do it in his sleep. He's been doing it for so long. And next time he come, I'm going to play one of y'all cuts for him because he sent me a couple of cuts that I like. So next time I'm going to play some of his music. But y'all know what this is. We do this every Wednesday from 6 to 8-ish. I appreciate y'all. We're going to keep having uncomfortable conversations. We're going to be unapologetically black. But we're going to have the tough conversations. We're going to sit there and fight it out because it ain't about agreeing. It's about sharing information to see how we can get better. It's about the disagreement so that we learn more. We hear the other side. That's what's important. Taking that information and making it work. How do we get better? Hear different solutions, hear different options, add that to your tool belt so you can be the best you can be. So y'all know with that, I want to thank Ryan. I'm gonna hit you up, brother. But you working so hard, I don't want it to be contagious because I ain't about that hard work. And this is my JBN, Roy in the cut doing his thing. So I got my Patriot Cup, but it's actually TB12 because he's the man. Until next week, y'all know what it is, right? Peace, popcorn, and chicken grease. And we out.
Peace, bro.